dipersembahkan oleh
Captain of Industries, pimpinan dunia usaha. Saya melihat Bapak Sofyan Wanandi.
Terima kasih pemirsa, Anda masih di live event Trade Expo Indonesia dan langsung saja kita akan mendengarkan bersama sambutan dari Menteri Perdagangan Republik Indonesia Muhammad Lutfi.
Menyambut Bapak Presiden terpilih, saya sempat berbicara dan beliau mengatakan bahwa beliau belajar ekspor dari T pada tahun-tahun pertama diselenggarakan. Untuk itu kita berikan aplaus kepada beliau. Bapak Presiden terpilih, Bapak Jokowi, dengan seizin Bapak dan hadirin semua, saya mencoba menyampaikan kata sambutan ini dengan bahasa Inggris karena banyak sekali pembeli-pembeli luar negeri yang datang pada pagi hari ini. Dengan seizinnya saya mencoba memberikan sambutan dalam bahasa Inggris. Colleague Ministers, Excellency Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, Captain of the Industries, I saw many views leading industrial head come from across the country. Again, I would like to welcome you to the 29th Trade Expo Indonesia. My name is Muhammad Lutfi, and I'm your chief host for the trade show this year. To those of you who came last year, I'm not the guy that stood before you this morning. Same height, same weight, but I don't play piano and I don't sing. I'm just a relief driver until the 20th of October of this month, so this is my first Trade Expo Indonesia and shall be my last one. Therefore, I'm determined to make this expo a memorable one for us all. In this opening, I will try to highlight the trends and directions of Indonesian trade and economy in the future. The first one, and the main driver of them all, is our market. I trust, as my personal welcome and greetings to you all, is the Jakarta traffic this morning greeting you well. Please don't blame me, nor the government. For that purpose, don't blame Toyota, Daihatsu, Suzuki, or Honda, because the city of Jakarta simply cannot make 2 kilometers worth of road every day just to match demand. And this number does not include motorcycles, yeah? Last year, we only sold about 9 million of those. The market is massive. A study by Nomura Securities shows that Indonesia's middle class, people that make $3,000 to $5,000 had grown from a shy short of 50 million people in 2009, and it went to 150 million people in 2014. This $3,000 to $5,000 is extremely important for my Japanese and Korean manufacturers. This number illustrates the consumptions. The $3,000 means the first televisions in the household, and $5,000 means the first car in the household. So what happened after that? The number of investment to Indonesia rocketed between 2010 to 2013. The realizations of Japanese investment and Korean investment went up not by 100%, not by 200%, but it went sevenfold, 700%. The Japanese investment came from $715 million in 2010. It went up to $4.7 billion in 2013. The Korean went also about the same. It started with around $300 million in 2010, and it went up to more than $2 billion in 2013. To me, this is the second wave of Indonesian industrializations. The first wave went from the mid-80s to mid-90s, At that time, the investors were looking for cheap labors, for low cost of productions. This time, they came, look at, and get into the market. For them, this is a survival. And for Indonesia, this is a chance to progress. I would like to go back to the study. It also shows that the region is very dynamic. The middle class in the Philippines shows more than double in the last 5 years to about 48 million people. It's about a third of Indonesia. Thailand has a little short than 40 million people, about a fourth of Indonesia. Vietnam has 28 million people, about a fifth of Indonesia. And Malaysia has around 27 million, about also a fifth of Indonesia, making this region extremely attractive. If you look consumptions of cars, Indonesia in 2009 only had 492,000 cars. This year, we will break 1.3 million cars, making Indonesia the largest market in ASEAN. But the number is getting a lot better. If you look at the populations of cars in the world, the number look like this. In the developed market like Japan, every 1,000 cars, every 1,000 people, there is 583 cars. In Thailand, Thai has every 1,000 people, 179 cars. In Indonesia, we have 47. So, what does that mean? The traffic in Jakarta will be about 4 times worse than it is today. But this is also will be followed by Manila and Hanoi along with Saigon. With these numbers, no wonder if Toyota will double its capacity in Indonesia by 2016. Daihatsu capacity in Indonesia will be larger than in Japan, more than 500,000 cars every year. There are also followed by Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi, Suzuki, expanding to double their capacity. In addition, if you look at air traffics between Bangkok and Jakarta, the travelers are jamming the capacity are not Indonesian nor Thai, but most of them are Japanese. They are second and third tier component manufacturer trying to follow expansions of the car major manufacturers. This is the second trend. It is real and it is inevitable. That is regional integrations. This is also the first pillar of ASEAN economic community, single market with production base. If you look at the performance of export of automotive, Indonesia expect to export $4.5 billion US. But in 3 years, this number will be past $10 billion US, making and marking automotive in the top 3 of Indonesian export product. Maybe after crude palm oil and its derivative, along with textile and shoes. Who would have thought just merely 5 years ago, Indonesia can be very important for automotive? I did, but mostly my colleagues in Germany and in Europe did not. The growth in middle class, industrialization, regional integrations will send us to the next trend, value chain. I'm very careful in choosing this term. To be honest, I used to say import substitutions. A lot of critics from trade commodity from DC to Melbourne. They think Indonesia is heading the wrong way, the wrong directions, protectionism. But with consumption around, but let me explain what's going on. Indonesia is the third largest producers of rice with around 35 to 37 million tons. With the consumption around 130 kilograms per capita, we ate them all. We are number 9 in fruits. But you see Indonesian mango abroad. You don't see Indonesian mango abroad. Why? Because we ate them all. My trade balance doesn't look so pretty because the surplus of my non-oil and gas export is being eaten away, but my deficit in oil and gas is going very high. We import more oil and gas every year, and not long ago, Indonesia is part of OPEC. Therefore, Indonesia needs to change this trend, but not closing or tampering with the market, but by enhancing it. Indonesia is the largest producer of CPO. As you know, palm oil is extremely competitive. Therefore, Indonesia needs to change and maybe twist a few regulations. So instead buying diesel from abroad, Indonesia shall use competitive biodiesel from its palm. It is definitely good for the economy. We pay our subsidy onshore, create jobs, and after all, that the local producer pay an additional 25% to the government. We call it income tax. According to study, only Indonesia and Myanmar has prospect to help with the world food security in ASEAN. Some countries had reached their maximum capacity, while others just simply difficult geographically. With the robust consumptions and growth of middle class, suddenly Indonesia has to move forward in getting better quality of rice. In the past, most of Indonesian eats 25% broken rice. Today, more than 30% would like to eat better rice. That means suddenly there is a market for more than 10 million of premium rice, 5% broken or better. To be fair, it is very difficult for Indonesia to do that, because more than 40 years, Indonesia had not moved from manual post-harvest production to world-class type of operations, which is mechanized and create efficiency. So what to do? Indonesia has to change the production system. Do we tamper with world and market economy? Of course, we don't, and we will not. The same story with our fruits. I had a privilege to live in Japan as Indonesian ambassador in Tokyo. For 3 years, I've been going to Japanese stores, and going to Japanese fruit stores is a novelty. It's like going to Disneyland. I saw mango from Pakistan, from Brazil, from Mexico, but none from Indonesia. I asked my agriculture attaché. The answer was simple. Indonesian mango was so sweet. Therefore, it contains a lot of alcohol, making the time between picking and eating very short, around 4 weeks. And compared to Thailand, Pakistan, and Mexico, which can go up to about 8 weeks, Indonesian mango become incompetitive when it has to be sent abroad. So what happened? They said that, well, I asked whether there is innovations for Indonesian mango. They said, but why bother with innovations? My agriculture attaché said, because we ate them all. We don't have to do enhancement, we ate them all. But I don't think this is the responsibility of Indonesia, because we just cannot feeding the Indonesian, but also the world. Is that impeding world trade when we enhance productivity and efficiency? Absolutely not, and we will not tamper with the world market. The next trend is about responsibility. The world may call it green economy or blue economy, but bottom line is about responsibility. Indonesia, with its CPO and derivatives, had attracted criticism of blaming Indonesia as not a friendly country toward environment. And industry claim that is merely about unfair competitions. The government decided not to be caught in the middle of these unproductive arguments, and more decisions that Indonesia will be responsible and accountable to the generations to come and the world that we live in. We made commitment that we will cut our emissions, we put moratorium in the deforestations, and promote sustainability products. Indonesia started with its wood products with the European Union. We are also looking to certify our CPO products as sustainable products. Even some major producers had made commitment to the world that they will make the difference in fighting climate change and be responsible to the world. This is why the theme of this year's Expo is toward green business. As a closing, I would like to assure you that Indonesia remains open for business. We may be in the middle of transformations to be an industrial country with a large market, but with a solid commitment of sustainability to the environment. We believe that trade is important because with trade we will enhance prosperity for the sellers and buyers, be that local or internationals, Therefore, we are seeking beneficial trade because only with that we can find fair trade. Indonesia is also understand to keep up and take care of the trade and market is not by protecting it, but by developing it. With that, I would like to ask the President-elect, Mr. Joko Widodo, to come forward with us to open this trade show as part of giving image to the market that Indonesia is open for business.
Ya, pemirsa, baru
Very
saja
best
kita
luck to you
saksikan.
all, but don't forget, come here more, eat more, buy more.
Ya, pemirsa, baru saja
and
kita
don't
saksikan
forget
sambutan
to
dari
give
Menteri
tips.
Perdagangan Republik Indonesia
I
Muhammad
thank
Lutfi,
you.
dan berikutnya kita juga akan menyaksikan prosesi pembukaan Trade Expo Indonesia berupa penekanan tombol sirene yang menandakan bahwa ajang pameran internasional terbesar ini resmi dibuka mulai hari ini tanggal 8 Oktober 2014. Penekanan tombol sirene ini akan dilakukan oleh Menteri Perdagangan didampingi dengan Wakil Menteri Perdagangan Bayu Krisnamukti dan juga oleh Presiden terpilih Republik Indonesia Joko Widodo. Kita saksikan bersama.
Hitungan ketiga secara bersama-sama, silakan secara bersama-sama. 1, 2, 3. Trade Expo Indonesia ke-29 tahun 2014 telah diresmikan. Kita saksikan kendaraan produksi PT Toyota Motor Manufacturing Indonesia menuju dan masuk ke dalam kapal yang akan menuju ke negara tujuan ekspor. Kita berikan tepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk industri dalam negeri yang merambah ke mancanegara. Kami silakan untuk kembali ke tempat
2014 yang ke-29 ini sudah resmi dibuka tadi oleh Menteri Perdagangan dan juga Wakil Menteri Perdagangan dan Presiden terpilih Republik Indonesia. Dan pemirsa, perlu kami informasikan ajang ini sekali lagi akan berlangsung 5 hari. Hari ini hingga tanggal 12 Oktober 2014. Untuk business visitors, waktu bukanya adalah pukul 10 pagi hingga 4 sore. Sementara publik bisa juga ikut menikmati pameran ini dari jam 4 hingga jam 8 malam. Dari jam 4 sore hingga jam 8 malam. Pemirsa, kita akan kembali lagi di Trade Expo Indonesia setelah jeda berikut ini. Tetaplah bersama kami.
Yang terhormat
bukan lagi kekasihmu, karena kau sudahi semua ini tanpa kata, tanpa ucap, kan dahulu kepadaku. Meskipun telah jauh, tapi kau selalu di hatiku. Meskipun kau bersamanya, tapi kau tetap di hatiku. Ku hanya bisa teteskan